What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Having a good Monday morning. The day after the night before is upon us once again. We're talking about a victory. We're back for another day, another match day reload. That's what we're calling this. We're going to break down the Everton game. We're going to look at some clips. We're going to listen to some quotes. We're going to get some of your comments up on the screen. We're going to talk about all the big talking points and discussion coming out of Manchester United's 2-1 victory over Everton yesterday at Goodison Park in that evening kickoff. I've seen in the chat, by the way, I made sure it's 2 minutes past 9 right now. I saw in the chat, I saw all of this late talk, lateness. Is Owen going to be late again? How dare you? How dare you? Lateness? No, not on the match day reload. There is never any lateness on the match day reload. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. I'm all fired up this morning. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club. The link's in the video description. There's also the pinned comment in the live chat as well. You get your badges. You get your exclusive members only content. Of course, you get everything. You get episodes of UV Raw. How many episodes have there been at this point? Oof, I'm not sure. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Descendant of the First Crackhead says, you look like you just woke up, Owen. I have one of those faces where even though I have been up for several hours already this morning, my eyes just never react to it. My eyes never react to that. Sometimes it looks like I've only just woken up. Sometimes I have just woken up and my eyes don't react to it. I've just got one of those faces. I don't know. When you splash water on your face or you have a shower, sometimes I've just got a tired face. It takes a while. And of course, the name of that account is spectacular. Descendant of the First Crackhead. That is excellent. Witterbird says, get a coffee. I've already got one. It makes no difference. But how's everyone feeling after yesterday's result, right? Goodison Park, challenging game, historically, last couple of years, haven't got good results against Everton away from home, got a victory yesterday, showed some character, showed some positivity, came back from 1-0 down, hostile atmosphere, and I thought we played very well. I really did. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into Erik ten Hag's quotes. We're going to get into some quotes from Bruno Fernandes and David De Gea as well. I'm going to talk about Casemiro, going to talk about Luke Shaw. Of course, we've got to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. When don't we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo? So we're going to talk about him. So as I mentioned, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. Let's get into some of these Ten Hag quotes because, again, if you're not aware, if you missed it yesterday, Manchester United got a 2-1 victory in the Premier League at Goodison Park after an early Alex Iwobi goal. Manchester United came back with goals from Antony and Cristiano Ronaldo, scoring his 700th club career goal. It's unbelievably impressive, isn't it? I mean, it's an unbelievable record that to win the game. And of course, we should have won 3-1. Because that VAR decision regarding Marcus Rashford was a joke. I mean, we're going to talk about VAR a little bit later on. I'm going to save up my energy for that one because I'm so tired of VAR. Anyway, Erik ten Hag, after the game, spoke to BT Sport, answered a few questions from the reporters, and spoke about Manchester United's victory. Now, first of all, he was asked about Anthony Martial. Of course, Martial came off after about 30 minutes. It was about 30 minutes, I believe it was. Of course, yesterday was Martial's first Premier League start of the season. He's been out of action for various injuries. I believe before the Brighton game, you might have to correct me here. You might have to correct me about this one, but I believe, was the Brighton injury that Martial was out for, was that a knee injury or a hamstring? I forget. It wasn't the same Achilles issue, was it? I don't think. It was a knee injury. Whatever it was, he was out for a couple of games, came back for the Liverpool game, came on, got an assist. Everyone was very excited. Bear in mind, we saw how he played in pre-season, so we were very excited as well. Then he had that Achilles injury and was out, came back against Man City, obviously got the 2 goals, came on against Ammonia in the week, got a goal, first Premier League start of the season, against Everton yesterday. We saw in the warm-up, he was looking a bit fragile. He was walking around a little bit gingerly. He was holding his back. He was holding his hip. There was clearly something going on. Nevertheless, he started the game. And despite United's slow start, links up for the goal because that this season is what Anthony Martial does. When he plays, he either gets an assist or he gets the goal. His record is unbelievable. But after about 30 minutes yesterday, he came off with that aforementioned injury. And Erik ten Hag said to BT Sport after the game, it was something different. He had a problem in his back. So once we talk about Martial a little bit later on, I'll go into more detail on that and my feelings on it. Nevertheless, it's obviously incredibly disappointing. And The question about reliability is going to come back up. It's going to come back up, absolutely. So we'll talk about that. Ten Hag then continued by saying, quote, "We were quickly 1-0 down, but the reaction of the team was good. Also, one of our aims to deal better with setbacks. They stayed composed. The first 35 minutes were quite impressive." And you know what? I think he's bang on with that because, I mean, when we went 1-0 down on the match for yesterday, and I saw some of you guys in the live chat say that the reaction from us, but probably specifically myself, was very negative. And it was very negative, actually, when we went 1-0 down. And the reason why is because we have seen, and I've spoken about it so much on streams like this, we have seen the mental fragility of Manchester United this season. So often, we want them to go into games and we want them to be aggressive. We want them to show that commitment. And when they have, they've won games. Make no mistake, I know Liverpool seemingly are on the decline, but we beat them by being tenacious. We beat Arsenal, who are a very good Arsenal side. You know, all jokes aside, all banter aside, I know people hate them, etc. But we beat a very good Arsenal side at Old Trafford. Why? Well, because we were the better team? Maybe not, but we were aggressive. We were tenacious. We showed that grit, and our manager, I think, out-tacticked the other manager that day. So that's the kind of mentality that we're looking for. And in the past, and we saw it against City, and we saw it, we came back against Ammonia, but they're a lesser side. Once we've gone 1-0 down in the past, and even this season, game over. Game over because we're that fragile. But yesterday, I thought we reacted really well. That might actually be the best I've seen Manchester United react to going a goal down in a while. I know last season, under Ollie in the Champions League, we came back from 1-0 downs or 2-0 downs a couple of times, but it kind of had felt like that had been beaten out of us by this point because once we conceded the goal, we kind of knew what was going to happen. And I felt like if this is what the fans are thinking, what are the players thinking as well? But I think yesterday they did show a real good reaction to a negative, and it was an individual error that led to the goal. Casemiro gives it away. It's a great goal by Iwobi as well, and you could have argued, here we go, atmosphere's up, Goodison Park's rocking, under the lights, slick pitch with all of the rain. But United really handled the game, and I think they deserve a ton of credit for that, and I think Erik ten Hag deserves a ton of credit as well. And the first half, I thought we did play really, really well, it must be said. I thought second half, we had a bit, it wasn't as intense, and obviously as the half went on, and as the game goes on, you've only got that 1-goal lead, and there is still that element of fragility there. You are going to back off, so you're not going to dominate the game as much, but we dominated possession for the majority of the game, and I thought first half we were absolutely in control. Everton did not have a sniff. They didn't have a touch in the box, and they still managed to score a goal, which is unfortunate. So I agree. I thought the first half was impressive, and I thought the reaction yesterday was very impressive by Manchester United as well. Now, Ten Hag was asked about Casemiro. Of course, Casemiro got man of the match. We'll touch on him shortly. But Ten Hag said, quote, "We saw during this game how important he is. He's composed, winning a lot of balls, winning also the ball of Cristiano Ronaldo. Good performance." I don't want to go in too much about Casemiro because I do want to talk about that after we get to Flex's clip. Plus, there's a really interesting stat from Laurie Whitwell that I think is worth talking about when it comes to Casemiro. Now, continuing on Anthony, Ten Hag said, quote, Anthony Martial rather, he was in first name terms, he was important before coming off, assisted the goal of Anthony, so we're happy with that. We are happy with all of the subs. Ronaldo got the winning goal, and Varane showed his importance with his organisation and heading capacity. You know what's funny about that as well? Varane was on the pitch for what? 5 minutes? 5 minutes, maybe something like that. But immediately comes on leadership, organise the defence. But, and I'm not saying that facetiously, I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm saying that as when he came on, they had several set pieces towards the end of the game as well, that last couple of minutes. How many corners did they have? How many free kicks did they have? And you need that leadership. And how many times has he spoken about that, Ten Hag, in recent weeks about Varane? He's the leader. He's the leader back there. He's the one leading the back line. He's the one organising. So just goes to show how highly Erik ten Hag views Varane, who of course didn't start yesterday, still recovering from that injury he sustained against Manchester City. I wouldn't expect him to start Thursday. Possibly will start against Newcastle on Sunday. That's going to be a challenging game, isn't it? Newcastle at Old Trafford. The difference between that game last season and this season, of course, Newcastle at Old Trafford was Cristiano Ronaldo's comeback game, wasn't it? And it was under Steve Bruce. They hadn't been taken over yet, and they were really poor that day, and Newcastle were just terrible. They are a completely different proposition at this point. So That's going to be fascinating next weekend, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Ten Hag continued by saying, the first half, I think, was the best half of all season. That is a really interesting question. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Was the first half yesterday the best... It'd be good if I could spell as well. The best half of the season. There you go. It's in the chat. Because I think that's a really big statement by Erik ten Hag yesterday to make that. And thinking about it, I think it might be the best half of all season in the way that he wants Manchester United to play. That we did dominate possession. Yes, obviously we conceded the goal by an individual mistake by Casemiro. But I thought apart from that, apart from individual errors, I thought our protection of the ball was actually pretty good. I thought our passing was good too. Again, you did have the individuals giving it away. Casemiro did for the goal. Dalot, how many times during the game did he give that ball away? It must have been at least 6 or 7 unforced errors. Just give it away, give it away. Red Hot Chili Peppers, give it away now. And it's good when you're making yourself laugh in the morning. But so many times he did that against Everton yesterday. But I think apart from that, I thought our quality and our technical expertise on the ball was pretty good. Already nearly 80 votes in, 76% saying yes, 24% saying no, which is quite interesting there. Ten Hag also spoke about Ronaldo scoring 700 club goals, said it's a massive performance. I'm really happy for him that he's achieved something like this, that you've scored so many goals. It tells a lot about him and his career. He was then asked by beIN Sports if Ronaldo was happy, and he said, ask him. I hope, because we're winning. It's not easy to win here, but it's about winning. It's about the team, but you need goal scorers. And again, I know it comes with the territory, and I know it's part of it. I know this is, Cristiano Ronaldo is always going to be spoken about. But I would think Ronaldo was happy yesterday. Not only did he get 700 club goals, he played, and we won. It's the perfect trifecta. Now, if you'd have asked him if he's happy with his overall situation at Manchester United, probably not. But to be honest now, you would think Ronaldo's going to get a run in the side. Let's be honest. Because Martial's injured. Rashford's doing things off the left-hand side and looking effective. Sancho's somewhat out of form, so Ronaldo gets his goal. So I would say that Ronaldo would be happy at this point. Ten Hag also spoke about Antony, saying for him, a lot of improvement, but you see that he's coming in and will adapt to that level. I'm happy with his goal, but especially the way he made the goal, the movement without the ball in the transition moment. He has to use his speed, and in the first week, he didn't always do. It's more effective. And I'm really happy he said that. I'm so happy he said that, because that is something that we've spoken about here, isn't it? That Antony gets in these positions where he's one-on-one with the fullback, and you're saying, go past him, do something. And he would do a step over and cut it back. But when he does try and take on a player, when he does cut inside, he's got that unbelievable shot with his left foot. He can whip it in the top corner. And his goal scoring record in the Premier League, what's that, 3-3 for Antony? Against some decent sides as well. Arsenal, Man City, Everton. So there is definitely something there. I think the idea of this one-trick pony thing by Paul Scholes is incredibly, incredibly harsh. Ten Hag also said, also in defending, he had to do things better, and today he did. On Thursday he did as well. That's good, and it's a good base for him to step up. So, in fairness, I think Paul Scholes did highlight about Antony maybe not protecting his fullback as much against Manchester City. I think he did that yesterday. Several times we saw him come back, and it was Dalot who was the one underperforming on the right-hand side. Certainly not Antony whatsoever. So I think Antony had a really good game. And also Erik ten Hag spoke about Marcus Rashford's disallowed goal, saying, when I see it, I can't see why they cancelled the goal. It doesn't have an effect on the result. If it had, then I would stand here different. Honestly, that VAR decision was just absolutely ridiculous. It really was. Also, in terms of players, David De Gea spoke to BT Sport after the game. He said, we controlled the game until maybe the last 10 minutes. It was massive for confidence. We have to look forward to that in the next games. He also said, it's an honour to be here. It's a privilege. It was great to be in goal today with the team fighting for 3 points. On Ronaldo, he said, quote, he's never been in this situation before about starting on the bench, but the way he works and trains is just unbelievable. It's not easy times for him, but he showed that he is a great player. And I do want to talk about David De Gea as well, because I think that obviously there's been a lot of criticism for him in the way his style and the way that maybe he can't adjust to Erik ten Hag's style of play. And I still do think long-term, that hasn't changed. I still do think we need better in terms of distribution. We need better in terms of ball at the feet. One good game sometimes doesn't outweigh however many mistakes or however many bad games from the point of view of the distribution that we're talking about. However, what I think he did really well yesterday wasn't so much his distribution, which was fine, but I thought his starting position was really, really good. And that is something you can change. And that's what I've been saying about De Gea, is that the distribution side of things, i.e. being able to spray the ball around the pitch, being able to be on the ball under pressure and be pressed by a striker but still be comfortable on the ball and still have that composure to find the right pass and play out from the back. I'm not sure you can teach that to David De Gea at this point in his career. Those kind of qualities, they're very difficult just to pick up now. What he can change very quickly and what he can improve on, this is what we saw yesterday, is just his starting position. If he's a few yards higher up, if he's more willing to come off his line, if he's more willing to sweep up, that just reduces the pressure on the defence so much, because Ten Hag wants to play a higher line. Now, in the first few games of the season against Brighton and Brentford, the line was really, really high. And after those bad results, we dropped off. The team line actually dropped quite significantly because we were playing on the counter-attack. But I think yesterday was a great example of how we can dominate the game, how we can have a lot of possession, how we can play a higher line, but we do have a keeper that is willing to come off the line. That is something you can teach relatively quickly. So I thought De Gea did really well with that yesterday, and of course, towards the end of the game, makes an excellent save, takes it off Onana's head, which would have been a surefire goal. And I thought De Gea did really well, and that's a credit to him, and it's a credit to the performance. As I mentioned, I thought as a team performance, Manchester United did really well yesterday. Now, you can't get too ahead of yourselves. It's Everton, and the last weekend was still a really poor performance. But I think overall, we're fifth in the Premier League. We've got a game in hand at the moment. And those first two results are so frustrating now in retrospect. I mean, they were at the time, but you look at, you can almost take the City result out of it. You can look Manchester City away from home, poor performance, but that's City are another level. They're unbelievable. And it was really disappointing, our commitment in that game and the lack of aggressiveness. But okay, you take that out. You can lose to City at the Etihad. It happens. But those first two games of the season, Brighton at home, Brentford away, if you'd have won those games, which the expectation was that you would, we'd be in a really good position right now. And again, it's trying to remain calm, because you don't want to get too carried away from ahead of yourselves, and you don't want to big up United too much when maybe they don't necessarily deserve it. But there is a decent side there. There is a decent side, and we are getting good results in the Premier League, and I think the overall performances will continue to come. As Erik ten Hag said, I thought the first half was arguably the best first half we've had all season in terms of what he wants to see. And we're going to be playing teams like that more often, where we are going to be dominating the possession again. We can't play the way we play against Arsenal or Liverpool every single week. They're playing on the counter-attack, because some teams in the Premier League just won't have that. They just won't set up like that against us. So I think there is room to be positive for Manchester United. I really do think so. Again, we are going to have moments like Man City again this season, unfortunately. We're going to have moments, maybe not as catastrophic as Brentford, but we're going to have moments, say, like against Brighton again this season. That is going to happen. But I do see positives there for United, which weren't there previously. And there is a group of players there that I do, whilst you get angry and whilst you can be negative at certain times, there is a group of players there that I do like. And that is a massive difference from last season, certainly, isn't it? Let's see what Flex had to say. Of course, Flex was in studio with us yesterday at UVHQ. He spoke after the game. Let's see what Flex had to say.
Scoreline doesn't suggest how dominant we were. You know what I mean? Looking back on that game today, there was a lot of chances for us today. Should have been at least 3-1 for me. Loads to get into. I wanted to start at the manager. And I think that Ten Hag is really starting to build a Manchester United identity. I really do. It's still early days, and we still have to be really patient. But look, this is the team. Last year didn't win there. Season before that didn't win there. Haven't won there in like the last 4 games. I look at Leicester away last year, didn't win there. I look at Southampton away, didn't win there. Liverpool at home didn't beat. Arsenal didn't beat. There's so many, games that Ten Hag's basically transforming our fortunes in, and it's because every player's buying in. We made changes to the team today. Victor Lindelof comes in again, like because he had to. I get it, because of injury, but he did well today. You look at Luke Shaw coming in today. I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. He was fantastic, up and down, good in the tackle, winning his duels, aggressive, kept Anthony Gordon quiet, which is, arguably Everton's best player. I look at midfield, Casemiro sat me down in the end. The Casemiro agenda, as you like to call it. Look, at the end of the day, he got given man of the match by BT. That's what it says. And Man United won the game. And that's all I care about. His performance, there was some bad bits. We get off to a bad start. But again, he stamps his authority in a lot and had some good moments, some real good moments that helped us go on to win the game. But back to Ten Hag, I think it's really, really key what he's doing. Because what we're seeing is that players are really hungry to come in and perform. Like I said, Luke Shaw, the door's been left open for him because Malacia has played 2 games poorly in a row, hooked at half-time. Luke Shaw, here's your start. Here's your reward for that. The same way you got dropped after 2 games against Brentford and Brighton and Malacia came in, then we went on a winning run. He played well, he kept his shirt. He started playing shit. Are you ready? Are you ready to seize the opportunity? Are you buying in every day in training? Are you looking at what I'm demanding and what I want from my players? Luke Shaw said, yes, boss, I'll be ready. Ronaldo, at the end of the day, we all kind of agreed, most people anyway, and there's a lot of you at home who don't agree because you want Ronaldo to be starting the games anyway, and today proves why. But even if we just label it Ten Hag's been going with strikers other than Ronaldo. Okay, he's not been playing them because that's his choice. But the door was left open. Ronaldo comes on after Martial even gets an assist and plays well. There's an opening. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, which you would never expect for Ronaldo, he's an absolute professional, comes in, scores and plays well. And I think the reason why these things are happening is not just by chance. It isn't just because Ronaldo is a great player and he's always going to be able to do that. That is one side. But what's happening is that the players are buying into the identity and the culture that Ten Hag is building throughout this.
Those the views of Flex there from UVHQ yesterday. Big up Flex. Big up Flex also. He was on Sky Sports this morning. He was on, I think it's called Paper Talk. I think it might be called that. Paper Talk on Sky Sports News with Jamie Jackson as well. Manchester United journalist as well from The Guardian. I think Jamie Jackson does The Guardian. So shout out Flex as well. He spoke about Casemiro, which we will touch on in a second. Let's have a look at the chat, though. First, be sure to smash a like on the like button as well, guys. We've got nearly 700 people watching. Less than, however many likes have we got? Only 101. We can do better. We can do more. You know what it is with these match day reloads? As I always say, it's just you or I. It's quite intimate, this. So we can get the likes up. You and I, we can do it together. So if you haven't already, smash a like on the like button. Let's look in the chat to the vote, the poll in the chat, which was the first half yesterday the best half of the season. 79% saying yes, 21% saying no. So 79% in agreement with Erik ten Hag that the first half was the best half of the season for Manchester United. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club as well. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat too. Steffi Jenks, big up the mods, says hit the like button. Descendant of the First Crackhead, one of my favourite accounts, says, I know it's only Everton, Owen, but you can only beat whoever is in front of us. We just need more frequent unbeaten runs. I think, people can say it's just Everton, but I do think that, yes, there was a really impressive victory. Everton were playing well. Everton were going into that game confident. I know it's Manchester United, but they were going into it 6 odd games unbeaten in the Premier League, maybe a little bit more. The lowest or the best defence of the Premier League this season too. At home, under the lights. Again, conditions were what they were. And they'd have fancied it. They'd have been up for it. They'd have seen United how vulnerable we are, and they'd have thought we can get a result. We beat them at home last season. So you're right, you can only beat who's in front of you, and I thought United did react from last week's performance, but also they reacted to some adversity in that game as well. Witterbird, member of the UV Members Club as well, for 2 months, I think that badge is. Owen, do you see United doing better than Liverpool? Liverpool are an odd one, aren't they? I think that the weekend was a big result for Arsenal, but also for Liverpool in the sense of they not only is it a slow start now, they haven't started. And now those issues that they have in their squad, they look at, they go, oh, there's quite a few players there that are 29, 30, 31. I think they've got the second oldest side in the league or something like that. They need a refresh. I think they miss Mane in the sense of that front three isn't as fluid. They're now trying to tweak formations to try and accommodate Nunes, who I did think did okay actually at the weekend. Obviously, they've got the issues defensively. They're just, I don't know. So to answer your question, can United do better than them this season? It's a very, very long season. And I think you'd be remiss to write off Liverpool with what they've achieved just in the last 12 months alone and what United haven't achieved in the last 12 months. But you look at the picture right now, United are more in form. We beat Liverpool at Old Trafford. And so who knows? Certainly, Liverpool will be in that race for top four. They'll be like Manchester United, I think, in the sense of they'll be looking for that third or fourth spot, probably the fourth spot in all actuality. So can we do better than them? It's a tough one. I don't know if I'm going to commit completely to that. Now, Flex obviously spoke about Casemiro in his Flex's view after the game yesterday. Was critical of Casemiro at points during the game. We've got the match view highlights later on. And, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They're awesome. So stay tuned for that. But spoke about Casemiro. Of course, Casemiro got man of the match yesterday. He got BT Sports man of the match, which I was surprised about. Now, it was his first Premier League start for Manchester United. Of course, he started twice in the Europa League. He started against Real Sociedad. Did he start against Sheriff? I think he started against Sheriff. He started against, obviously, Ammonia. Played 80 minutes against Ammonia on Thursday. And with the poor performance last weekend, it kind of opened the door for him to finally get into the Manchester United side. Now, for him to get man of the match, I was surprised. Now, I'm not going to say it wasn't his best performance in a Manchester United shirt, because I do think it was. I do think that's the best game I've seen Casemiro have for us. I thought that, and if anything, actually, it was his offensive work that impressed me more than his defensive work. And you felt like, or certainly I did, I felt like we signed him to be that ball winner in midfield. And in actuality, I was more impressed with him going forward than defensively yesterday. Obviously, for Ronaldo's goal, he wins the ball back after giving it away. He wins the ball back and then puts Ronaldo through. But several times we did see forward passes by Casemiro, or that connection between him and Ronaldo. Or, I mean, he should score as well. I mean, it's a fantastic ball by Marcus Rashford, picks out the run, and the run, it must be said, by Casemiro for that header is excellent. That's a proper midfielder's run, arriving in the box late, you've got momentum, get there just at the right time, ball's coming down, header, he has to score. He doesn't, but I said during the time that I am happy with that run, because we traditionally, for United for so many years, Bruno Fernandes is playing in the 10 or just off the striker. We haven't really had those midfielders rather, that are going to make those late runs from deep and arrive in the box at the right time and be able to get on the end of the ball and score a goal. So I was happy with that. There are issues when it comes to his quality on the ball, and again, I don't think that's a fluke. We've seen Casemiro have poor moments on the ball several times for Manchester United already, and people can chalk that up to, Owen, he's rusty, or he doesn't have the match rhythm. I just think that might be part of his game. I just don't think he is that guy that is going to protect the ball, or every time the ball's at his feet, you can be comfortable that he's going to pick out the right pass, or he's not going to get dispossessed. I think that maybe it does come a little bit, to give some people credit, maybe it does come a little bit from adjusting to the league, i.e. you just don't have that time on the ball. Maybe in Spain, when you're playing for Real Madrid and people are respecting you more than they do at Manchester United, maybe you do have that extra 2 or 3 seconds on the ball. But he has been caught out several times when it comes to just taking a little bit too long on the ball, or being a little bit sloppy with it, or not just getting it out of his feet quick enough. And he has done that several times. Yesterday wasn't a fluke in that instance, but I'm not sure that should totally take away from what was a good performance. Wasn't the best performance on the pitch. I don't think it was, but I thought it was his best performance for Manchester United. And I certainly saw encouraging signs, in the same way that I saw encouraging signs for the entire United side. I did see encouraging signs for Casemiro yesterday, in that obviously he's got that experience, but actually he can offer us more going forward than I previously thought. I'll hold my hands up to that one. I thought it was just, he's a ball winner defensively, bit of a shithouse, win the ball back, give it, and then give it to his partner. But actually, I think he can be more, I think he can be more offensive, and I think that's a positive. Now, in terms of his overall performance, Laurie Whitwell posted this, this morning. And I took note of it because I thought it was a really interesting stat. So this is his tweet. He said, quote, Casemiro was named man of the match on his first Premier League start, but there was good and bad. He lost possession 17 times, which was the most for United, and gained it 9, which was the most for United. Now, he took a touch, which led to the Everton goal, and he made adjustments. And I think that sometimes you can look into stats, and stats can kind of tell you a bit of a falsehood, and stats can manipulate things, and you can look into stats to tell whatever story or agenda you want to. But I think that just perfectly sums up Casemiro's performance last night. He lost possession 17 times, which was the most, but he also won it back 9 times, which was the most. And that kind of summed him up, I think. Was it perfect? No. Was it better? Yes. And if he can just cut out that losing possession 17 times to just at least half, right? If he can then lose it 8 times, because you're not going to have a perfect game. You are going to lose the ball sometimes. So the issue is with Casemiro is because he's just in front of the back four. If you're losing the ball there, it's a massive chance for the opposition. But he wins it back. For Ronaldo's goal, poor pass, but he won it back and then put Ronaldo through and we score. So you go, fair enough. So was it man of the match performance? No. But I think he did well. And obviously, he's going to be starting for United going forward. Won't start on Thursday. I think McTominay will start on Thursday because Casemiro is going to be starting against Newcastle on Sunday because McTominay suspended. So that's even out of the question anyway. I think Casemiro did well last night. And I think that there is still a way to go. And I think maybe that conversation about him, just be careful in this league because you're just not going to get that time that maybe you would have gotten previously. And just make sure you take care of the ball better. Winning the ball back is excellent. That's your forte. Going forward, was way better than I thought. Again, should have scored, got the assist for Ronaldo's goal as well. So there are definitely positives there. And if we can see something like that, maybe a 10% better performance, then we've got a real proper player there. And then you're getting the Casemiro that maybe we thought we were getting. So I do think there are absolutely positives there. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Got nearly 800 people watching. Still less than 200 likes. We can do better. Be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. You can spam the chat right now with all of the emojis you can get. The flex emoji, the KG emoji, the Owen emoji, Marcel's porridge emoji. More emojis coming soon. Actually, let me know too, what other emojis would you like to see? What other emojis would you like to see in the UV Members Club? This is a democracy here on the channel. You can let me know who else you would like to see when it comes to the emojis in the UV Members Club. Let's get to another clip. Let's talk to KG. KG spoke to Flex. I've just remembered this clip as well. He spoke to Flex after the game at UVHQ yesterday. And KG was so happy that he broke into dance.
1, Manchester United 2. It's made you just do this.
Step up, bro. I need to start cracking now playing. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
I'm gassed, bro.
Good win, man.
No. I'm happy because, bro, you have to understand what we've been going through, yeah? We got a good manager. My thing's all about Ten Hag. Again, this man, meritocracy. It's taken me a long time to say that.
Yeah, you said it crisp.
Meritocracy, bro. And I'm telling you, this is what the difference is. You play players that are in form, deserving of the shirt. Remember, we're talking about not everyone gets to wear the shirt. You have to fight for it. You don't, when you get it, how long can you keep it? Because them man are chomping at the bit. Today, you saw what it means. And Luke Shaw, I'm his biggest critic. I got a shagenda. Yeah. I got a shagenda. And it's me. People say I got a shagenda as well, whatever. But Luke Shaw for me was the man of the match. I hate to say that, but because this...
You shouldn't hate to say that.
No, I hate to say that because there's...
What do you mean you hate to say that?
No, I hate to say that because there's things... I have to say it.
I hate that. That's a real agenda.
Yeah, because...
Like, you got man of the match. I hate that.
I hate to say that because I'm like, the journey that I've been on with Luke Shaw is a crazy one in terms of today, he's lost weight, bro. He's actually in good shape. And you say to yourself, wait, mate, where was that though? But then you have to be fair and say, listen, forget what's happened in the past. Let's deal with what's here today. So that's when I say I hate to say it because I'm still dealing with the fact of, mate, you've shown you're in shape. So what, did it take a kid from an Eredivisie for you to be this way? But again, that's harking on about the bad things. Ten Hag has created this feeling, this hunger for the team. Everyone wants to play. And it's brilliant. You got Ronaldo understands. Martial comes off. He knows Martial's first choice. Imagine Ronaldo thinking, bloody hell, I'm behind him.
Yeah, he thought he'd be on the bench pretty much the whole game today. Maybe come on last 20
I'm definitely not going to play. Martial's the one that he likes. Martial gets injured. What does he do? Ronaldo's kind of smiling when he's coming on. He's like, hey, listen, could be 700 today. Gets his goal. The other against Ammonia, we accommodated him. Again,
the views there of KG at UVHQ. You know what's great about that is so you can't see obviously in the shot, but I was actually at the desk tapping away doing some stuff whilst they were recording that. And before they started, I could just see KG like warming up, like doing this. And he just kept like doing this like robot stuff. And then they started and he was... Oh, how could you not love KG? Just, it's so much fun, honestly. What was he talking about? Luke Shaw. He was talking about Luke Shaw after the game yesterday. And Luke Shaw, for me, would have been my man of the match. I do agree with what KG was saying there. I thought Luke Shaw was excellent yesterday. And sometimes in a positive performance, it's in the same way somewhat frustrating because you do know that's there. You do know that's there from Luke Shaw. We've seen that from Luke Shaw before. And he had a good season at United, was heading into the Euros, wasn't it? And then he had a good tournament too. I think you have to give him credit for, clearly he's got in really good shape. And I know people talk so much about Luke Shaw's weight and he's fat and James Corden and all that kind of stuff. But Luke Shaw clearly has seen the competition from Terrell Malacia. I mean, this is how intense the competition is from someone like Terrell Malacia. His positivity, his tenaciousness and the energy that he's brought into that Manchester United side is Luke Shaw took a couple of looks at Terrell Malacia and how he was performing in training, how he was performing on pre-season, how Malacia started the season. He went, need to lose some weight, need to get in shape. And he has got in shape because Ten Hag demands more of his fullbacks. Ten Hag wants you to be up and down. Ten Hag wants you to be involved the entirety of the game. And Luke Shaw did that yesterday. I thought he was up and down. I would like to see him overlap more still, because when he does overlap, this is what's annoying with Shaw. When he does overlap Marcus Rashford or whoever's on that left-hand side, he gets into good positions. Then his delivery is good. I would probably say his delivery is better than Terrell Malacia's delivery. So when he gets into those areas that he can put the ball into the box, usually it's pretty good. And Shaw with the ball at his feet is tidy. He had some good link-up play with the likes of Eriksen and Bruno, and particularly Rashford off that left-hand side. The positive of Shaw having that position for such a long period of time is that he has played with Rashford on that left-hand side for such a long time at United that they do have an understanding. They do have a connection. And I'm happy. I'm really happy that in a position like left-back, it is close. It's not one's miles ahead of the other. It's going to go like this the whole time. And I'm not doing a weird dance here. It is like one will go ahead because, and again, maybe this goes back to, and Flex made a good point about this, that maybe as fans, we do have to be somewhat calm. I mean, I know it's difficult, especially when a player's in bad form and they're in bad form for such a long period of time. And in Luke Shaw's case, he's been at Manchester United for so long. When did he sign for Manchester United? What was it, 2014? He's been at the club nearly 8 years at this point. He's been at the club so long, and you have seen him play well in fits and, start, stop. That eventually, after 8 years, you go, well, his contract is up. Maybe it should be trigger to sell. Maybe it should just be we let it run out. Maybe his time is done. Maybe, he's done all he's going to do at Manchester United. But then you see that and you go, well, no, maybe there is something in there. And it does go to show that maybe we shouldn't, and I'm talking about myself here too. Every day's a school day. Maybe we shouldn't just write players off for a little bit of bad form or bad form after a year. They'll gone, get rid of them, get rid of all of them. Because there is clearly, with some of these players, something in there. Now, are they good enough to win titles at Manchester United? Who knows? That's a big question point, and there are still plenty of left-backs in the Premier League that are better than Luke Shaw. And I don't know if Luke Shaw will ever get to those levels, but for what Ten Hag wants to do this season and in the early stages of his Manchester United tenure, can Luke Shaw contribute? Of course he can. And Luke Shaw has always thrived when there's competition at Manchester United, or there's always someone challenging him, whether it's off the pitch, on the pitch, whatever. And now I look at that left-back spot and I say, that's quite close. At the moment, it's Luke Shaw's, but he could have a bad game, and Terrell Malacia could come back in, and I go, good. Terrell Malacia is a good player. Terrell Malacia is a good left back to come back in. A couple of weeks ago, Luke Shaw was finished at Manchester United because Malacia was playing so well. Malacia's performance dips a little bit. Shaw comes in. There's a little crack in the door. He kicks it open. Now the left back spots him. That's good. That's what I want to see at Manchester United. Play well, keep your spot. Play badly, lose your spot, because there's someone behind you that's more than willing to take it and more than good enough to take it as well. That's how we're going to progress. So I'm glad that Luke Shaw played well yesterday. I'm glad that, Terrell Malacia will be there ready to step up for whenever Luke Shaw does drop off, because he will drop off, because we've seen that inconsistency for Manchester United as well. So I'm happy with that. Now, I see in the chat a lot of people, Swift, saying Shaw only plays good for 6 months when someone nearly replaces him. Ed T says 8 years, 1 good season. Owen, he's done. Let him go at the end of the season. I don't care if he finishes the season as player of the year. He showed he's consistently bad. His good spells are rarities. Well, if he finished the player of the year, then that would imply that he had a good season, which would be consistency, would it not? I understand your point that, there might be... eventually, you have to cut loose? I think it's footloose. Eventually, you have to cut your losses. There you go. Cut loose. Foot loose. Kick off your Sunday shoes if you want, because it's Monday. Eventually, sometimes you have to, cut your losses. But if Shaw continues up good form between now and the end of the season, then there's a real conversation about a contract. You have to earn it. That's the point here, and I think that mentality is still there. Erik ten Hag said that, or it has been reported that anyone that gets a contract is going to have to earn it, and by earning it, not just having a couple of good games against an Everton away, you're going to have to play well consistently. Yes, there's the crack of the door. Yes, you kicked it open. Yes, the left back spot's yours now, but there's still plenty of games to go. And if you do take your foot off the gas slightly, then maybe it will be the time of saying, actually, you know what, we won't keep you going in a different direction. Because I think Ten Hag will still be undecided on that. We are still somewhat undecided on that too. So I think Shaw played well in the case of yesterday. I thought Shaw played well, and I'm happy to see that. As KG said, he was man of the match. I hate to say it. But that's KG. So there you go. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. How many likes have we got right now? We've got over 800 people watching. Still less than 200. Oh, we can do better. You can do it, as Rob Schneider would say in all of those Adam Sandler films. You can do it. You can smash the like on the like button, and you can subscribe as well, bottom right hand corner. I think recently we got over 123k. So the road to 125k is firmly on. So if you haven't already, now's the time. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Remember, you can join the UV Members Club. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat as well. Louis was with us yesterday at UVHQ. Flex spoke to Louis after the game as well. Here's what Louis had to say.
We passed that test today.
Definitely. I think, to be honest, we carried on in the same vein, minus the City game. The Premier League game before that, I believe, is probably Arsenal, if I'm right.
That's so long ago.
I know.
Yeah, it was before the... Yeah.
But literally, those 4 games that we had, and then this one, minus City, because they're just a different animal. Same sort of pattern. It's been brilliant to watch. Today, though, we went 1-0 down. I feel like we controlled the game more. And it was nice to see different players in the squad, i.e. Casemiro started, Luke Shaw, who I am a fan of. And for me, he was man of the match. Could see him come in, and Martial started. Didn't complete it, which is an issue. But then Ronaldo come on, and again, attitude thing, came on, scored, 20 minutes later? And then we managed to see the game out, and Rashford should have got a goal. So, good team performance.
They're starting to really buy into, we're starting to see like an identity, aren't we? Like, it is slow, it's still got us cook, and we have to be really, really patient. But do you think we're starting to see like an identity under Ten Hag now,
Definitely.
slowly?
And do you know, I'm one of them people where I want to see my team win. Like, we've had years of shit.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see, man, you're not getting the 3 points, but there's some identity. The players know what they're doing, and it's not just off the hook boom, boom, boom. And definitely Ten Hag definitely put his print on there, and I think he's put his print on there to the point where some big players, some star players, are not starting, but they're not moaning because they believe in what he's doing, and that's important.
So he's building like a team culture. He's
100%. It's a culture, and so he's building a culture on the pitch, and I believe at the training grounds, so on and so forth, he's doing stuff as well, which is important. But also, then we need that to ascend to the top, and before you know it, Arteta has been They've stuck with Arteta for 3 years. Pep's been there for quite a while, but like Klopp, best example, 7 years, they've stuck with him because it wasn't pretty in the beginning. If we do that with Ten Hag, this could be crazy. In 3-4 years' time, we could be rivaling like City.
That's pretty mad, that, Louis. Saying we can be up there with City in a couple of years. I appreciate the positivity. Big up, Louis, always joining in for the match. We've got a few highlights coming up shortly as well. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Louis was talking about Ronaldo there, and obviously you have to talk about Ronaldo. But this is to my point. I spoke to Flex after the game yesterday, and this is to my point. This is when I want to talk about Ronaldo. This is when I'm happy to talk about Ronaldo. I am more than happy to praise Cristiano Ronaldo, talk about him after the game where he has positively contributed, where he has scored goals, where he has affected the game and shown his quality so many times about Ronaldo. And this is the biggest frustration for myself personally, is that if Ronaldo doesn't play, you're talking about Ronaldo. Why didn't he play? If Ronaldo's on the bench, why is he on the bench? If Ronaldo plays and he doesn't score goals, oh, he's not scoring goals, what's going on there? The conversation's always about Ronaldo. But in days like yesterday, of course you're going to talk about Ronaldo. Of course you're going to give him praise. He came on, and at a time where Martial started the game, and even with an injury, he started well, got that assist for the Antony goal, and you thought, great, Martial starting, he's going to kick on, gets the injury, and he comes off, and not that you're begrudging Cristiano Ronaldo coming onto a football pitch, because that would be ludicrous to say, but you're thinking United are going to have to adapt now maybe. They might lose some of that fluidity. They might lose some of that mobility up front. But I thought Ronaldo was excellent yesterday. I thought his link-up play was really good. I thought he was on the same wavelength with a Rashford and an Antony on either side. I think that works. I think there's legitimate pace, particularly to his left-hand side with Rashford, but also Antony, when he does want to take on a player, he does have that little bit of acceleration. I think that worked, and I think also in terms of a midfielder behind him, as I spoke about with Casemiro from deep is always looking to find Cristiano Ronaldo. Of course, we know the connection with Bruno Fernandes there as well. Eriksen keeps things ticking over, and I thought Ronaldo looked the sharpest he has all season, and realistically, that shouldn't come as much surprise because he didn't play pre-season, and it is a match rhythm kind of situation. I do agree with what those people are saying there. And Ronaldo now, in the same vein that I was talking about Luke Shaw, it's the same with Ronaldo. Ronaldo now, he probably will start thinking about it on Thursday because we just don't have another striker to play, and that'll be good. That's minutes for him. And he'll start, I would think, against Newcastle on Sunday at Old Trafford as well, and he should, because if you play well, if you're scoring goals, if you're positively affecting the game, if you're contributing to the team and contributing to an overall performance, playing well, you deserve to start. And Cristiano Ronaldo is no different from any other player in that regard. The frustrating thing has been previously, it's like, Ronaldo should start. Why isn't Ronaldo starting? And you go, okay, why do you think Ronaldo should be starting? And they'll go, well, look what he's achieved in his career. Look what he's done. Look what he did last season. And the response to that is, yeah, but that's last season. What is he doing right now? What is he doing now? That means he should be starting over someone else. The answer now is he scored a goal. He positively affected the game. He played well. That's what he's doing right now. Therefore, he deserves to start right now. And he is no different from any other player in that regard. There should be no preferential treatment. And I give him credit yesterday. I thought he played very well. Can he sustain that for an entire game? Can he do that when he starts? I mean, time will tell this season. But I think he possibly did dispel a little bit of a myth that he can't play in a Ten Hag style. Is he Ten Hag's preferred choice? No, he's not Ten Hag's preferred choice because he would have started yesterday. Clearly, he wanted to start Martial. But I think what we did see yesterday is that with the Ten Hag style of play in terms of dominating possession, still playing on the break somewhat, having these quick transitions, quick counterattacks, if you've got the right people around him, and this is when you do still have to somewhat accommodate Ronaldo, but if you do have the right people around him, he can still score goals. You know, he's not completely decrepit at this point. He's still, yes, he's older, but he can still score goals, and he was still very effective yesterday. So I think he deserves credit, absolutely. I think that he will get sharper. Is he still the preferred choice? No, not right now, because if Martial had got through that game unscathed, and Ronaldo would have probably come on later on, but he certainly wouldn't be starting against Newcastle next Sunday. But things happen. Ronaldo's took his chance, you know, in terms of coming on and playing well, in terms of getting the goal too. And I thought he looked dangerous, and I think he does deserve credit for that. And now Now will be interesting to see, does he get this run of games? Because logically you would say he would. In the past, earlier this season, even when Martial wasn't available, we saw Ten Hag go, actually no, I'll go with Rashford and I'll put Sancho on the left. But now you would think, no, Rashford was really effective off the left. I don't think he'll want to change that. And therefore Ronaldo will start. So I think Ronaldo will start Thursday, and I think he'll start Sunday as well. So I think he does deserve credit for that. Is he the long-term option for Manchester United? Clearly not. There's nothing really long-term about Cristiano Ronaldo. I always said I think he'll stay towards the end of the season because United just can't afford to let him go, not in the sense of, because he's so indispensable to the side, but because we just don't have any strikers. And there clearly isn't the money there in January to spend unless something really, really unthought of comes up, and I don't think that's going to be the case. So I think Ronaldo stays to the end of the season. Then I do still think he leaves Manchester United. I think he will still leave United at the end of the season. I still think he'll go elsewhere and play every game for a club because he's not going to play every game for Manchester United. So I think he does deserve credit though yesterday, because I'm not going to be one of these people that's going to criticize him when he plays badly or say that he's not Ten Hag's preferred choice and then he plays well and then say, well, he's still rubbish, this, that and the other. No, you have to give people credit when they deserve it. Absolutely. So give credit to Cristiano Ronaldo, certainly. 10 minutes left. Let's have a look at the match view highlights. If you didn't join us yesterday, the stream is still up on the channel. In studio, it was KG, Flex, myself and Louis all watching the game. So here's a quick look at the highlights from the match view yesterday, a quick look at the goals and all of the reaction to them, including, spot this, Flex on the floor before Ronaldo's winner. Have a look at this.
Pressure, Casemiro, man.
It's not a
foul.
Casemiro,
Was that caught out like that?
Edge of the box.
Casemiro,
Edge of the
man.
box. It's all
That is cold.
Easy as you like.
That is
so
cold.
Arsenal have had a great day.
That is
What we
cold.
said more.
Look at him.
What a finish.
Nah, he's posing.
Bloody hell, they're celebrating.
How is he posing on
Yeah,
us
but
like
KG, how much time does he have outside the box?
Casemiro.
Casemiro loses it. Everyone
man.
can see he's going to have the shot as well. Everyone can see it. Does anyone go out to him? Does anyone go out to him?
Oh, that was disgusting.
Bloody hell. Conceded early again.
Put Ericsson in.
There you go.
There you
Wins
go.
it back.
Anthony.
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 Yes!
Come on, brother.
Finish!
Come on, man.
Yes!
All right. What did I say? No work. We paid. We didn't pay enough. We didn't pay enough.
You know what?
We didn't pay enough.
No, we
I tell you what,
paid
as well,
80 million,
we
bro. It should be
didn't pay
finishing
enough.
now.
It comes from Dallo messing up
Let's
as well.
go.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
comes from Dallo
Let's
messing
go.
up.
But that's Everton again. They made a mistake after we made a mistake.
Oh, told you, lads.
You see the
finish.
difference.
I love you, bro.
Goals are coming
finish,
from
Right now. Right
Martial
now. Let's
assist,
go.
man.
So what happened here?
Hey, David De Gea today,
Yeah, he
guys.
played well.
Made
Set
very
early, yeah, good. Round corner.
What are you doing?
Who's that? Casemiro? Nah. Oh, hey, what the fuck?
Get outside.
Are you mad? Hey, who did this? Look at this. Look at this. Yes!
Get the hell out of
The
here.
judge is real.
Sit down.
The judge is real. He was on the floor.
You missed it.
The judge is real.
How did
The
Casemiro
judge is
win?
real.
Oh,
No,
bro.
you missed it. Casemiro, yeah.
700.
Look at Ronaldo. Yes, he's back.
Watch this. He makes a mistake.
Rex was laying on the floor.
He won it back.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Ronaldo from the left.
Looks up.
Oh, we need to go.
Finish.
I tell you what, I was absolutely, I was dying when Flex was on the floor with the Ronaldo one, because he went down and then he obviously didn't see that he won it back. During it, his eyes were like that. He was like, what's going on? Unbelievable. So if you haven't watched the match, be sure to check it out. It's still on the channel live. Super chat here from Mark says, big up United stand, making 1.5 million subscribers. Fan channels are the future. Don't hate, appreciate. Look, absolutely big up to them. Big up to anyone. It's a huge milestone for them. Congratulations to them, certainly. It's unbelievable. Fantastic achievement. And as I've said before, I think the growth of all the fan content, I think in the last sort of year, 18 months has been absolutely fantastic. We've seen not just even United channels, but also people like even AFTV being involved in press conferences, asking questions to the managers and speaking to ex-players and talking to legends in the game. I think it's great. I think obviously it's a younger, newer medium. But I think it's just as important as traditional media or anything like that. So big up to anyone achieving anything in this space. I think it's fantastic. So huge achievements to all of them. And Mark also says, Owen looks like an extra out of White Men Can't Jump there. I've never seen the film. That's not a film that I have seen, Mark. So I can't say that. And big up to Josh as well. I think Josh Media, Visual Ninja, Graphics Guru. I haven't said that in a while. Is in the chat as well. So big up to them as well. What do I want to talk about last few minutes or so? Or I want to talk about Anthony as well. I want to talk about the two Anthonys, Anthony and Anthony Martial, and I do want to talk about VAR too. Anthony, 3 goals in 3. Can't really argue with that. And what's crazy is, I thought Ten Hag said it perfectly in his quotes after the game, where he said that there is still a way to go. Clearly, I think that I still want to see him take on players too. I want to see him go past players more. I want to see him use pace, because when we have seen him actually take on players and tried to go past them, we've seen real positive stuff from Anthony. We've seen goals, clinical. Absolutely clinical. And Paul Scholes can say what he wants and say he's a one-trick pony, this, that, and the other. 3 goals in 3. That is not bad. Especially with the price tag. All you can do, realistically, when you come for a price tag that high, and this goes back to, I don't even really want to bring him up, but the Harry Maguire situation. When your price tag is that high, you can't control that. All you can control is play well. If you're a striker or you're an attacker, score goals, get assists. If you're a defender, get clean sheets, put tackles in, do your job. And that's what Anthony has done. Could he have been better against City? Yeah, but he scored a screamer. But he could have been a lot better in that game. Can he affect the game more? I think so. But at the same time, he's getting numbers on the board, on the counter-attack. He wasn't involved in the game before his goal yesterday, but gets the chance, scores the goal. That's all you can ask of him. And, in terms of work off the board, defensively, needs to do a little bit more. But as Ten Hag said, I think he did that in the last couple of games. So I think he deserves credit. Martial, look, obviously, it's just really disappointing, clearly. What's even more frustrating about it is when he is playing. It's not as if when he's playing badly as well. Every time he plays, he's affecting the game. Every time he has played for Manchester United this season, he's either got a goal or an assist. And you just think, imagine we had him for 90 minutes. Imagine we had him for several games in a row where he was fit and he was playing 90 minutes. Who knows what we could achieve? Who knows what he could achieve personally? So it's incredibly frustrating. And the concern for me is that they're all different injuries. Again, I think that first game of the one for the Brighton game, I want to say it was a knee injury or something like that. It might have been a hamstring injury. I swear it was. I don't think it was this Achilles thing. He had that, played against Liverpool, tight Achilles. And then now, Ten Hag is saying this is a back or a hip thing. So it's all 3 different injuries. Now, is that luck? Is that the way you take care of yourself? Is that, I don't know. But it's incredibly frustrating. And those that aren't on the Martial bandwagon, as it were, they'll point to that and say, see, you can't rely on him. But on the flip side, you can't, clearly, the evidence isn't there that you can rely on him to play 90 minutes. He hasn't. But at the same time, you could say, but you can rely on him to affect the game, because every time he's played, he's scored a goal and assist. It's crazy. The positive out of it, if there really is one, the positive is that those people that would be coming in to replace him, i.e. Ronaldo, are playing well. They are playing well, and he is getting goals. But man, you do feel for him, but at the same time, you can't. Those people that say can't rely on him, well, the evidence is there, and that's the frustrating thing as well. Mark wants to go with the super chat, says 4th place is a C grade of our investment, 3rd place is a B, 2nd place is an A. Anything else is KG detention settings. KG used to always get detention. He was that guy at school, absolutely. 4th place, I've said this before, I think the expectation will be for Ten Hag to get 4th place, even though some fans won't expect it, and certainly going into the season we didn't expect it. I agree with what you're saying there, Mark. In terms of the money spent, the expectation will be that he'll get 4th, or the hope would be that he gets 4th. Now, we shouldn't have spent that much on that group of players, because we could have spent far less if we'd done the business earlier and more efficiently. That's not on Ten Hag, that's on the club. But I think that expectation will be there. And to be fair, I do think 4th's up for taking. Absolutely. You would say City and Arsenal 1 and 2, but the rest, best of the rest, is pretty close, I would have think. Finally, just with a couple of minutes left, I would like to talk about VAR because that Marcus Rashford decision was ridiculous yesterday, and I have had gone back and watched it a couple of times now. I still can't figure out why they ruled it out. I can't figure out what they ruled it out for. They say it was handball. Marcus Rashford can do nothing in that situation. The ball skips up over Pickford and hits him around here onto his chin and then onto the floor. The reason they say they ruled it out is because it just happened to touch his hand in the direct build-up to a goal, thereby by the letter of law, if it touches, even if you meant it or not, even if your hands are down by your side, if it touched your hand, then you have to rule it off. This is the problem. And I agree kind of what Ed T is saying there. It's not VAR, the handball rule that's dumb. I agree, the handball rule in that essence is stupid. But at the same time, this when it comes back to VAR is just actively looking for reasons to chalk off goals. VAR, the reason it was implemented was to rule out and clear up clear and obvious errors. Clear and obvious errors of real bad situations like, I can't believe that was a red card. I can't believe that was offside. Or I can't believe that was clearly a penalty and he massively got it wrong. That's kind of the thing VAR was there for. Not this nitpicking stuff. And that's what it is. You can nitpick and scrutinise every single goal you want to and find a reason to chalk every goal off. You can. Absolutely. You can find anything wrong in a build-up to a goal. There's always something. There's always some offence that you could go, actually, maybe we should rule it out for that. But you look at a goal like that last night and you should say, there is no reason to rule that out. There isn't. You can point to, well, by the letter of the law, but by the letter of the law, there should be no goals in football then, because there's always something. There is always something, and it goes back to these referees becoming jobs worths of, well, I think actually the handball rule, section B, subsection 2.1567 says this. No. Have people involved in that. You can have referees that run that VAR hub, but maybe have a player in there. Maybe have an ex-player that goes, come on, what's he supposed to do? He can't do anything about that. It's not even really an ex-player, it's just physics. What's he supposed to do? Like, what's he supposed to do? And then the inconsistency, that's annoying as well. The inconsistency. Antonio's goal for West Ham, it touches his hand in the build-up to the goal, and they don't rule it out. Fair enough, if you're going to blanket all of it, just say, no, okay, touch his hand, boom. But we don't see the same. We don't see the same consistency. And it blows my mind. You've got technology. Not that you're always going to be perfect, because things still are subjective in football. But you should be at a much higher threshold of getting decisions right. And they still get them wrong. They have multiple looks at them, multiple people looking at them, and they still get them wrong. That is crazy. And every single week, it's bad decision after bad decision. The standard of refereeing in the Premier League is rubbish. It's terrible. Every other week we're talking about how bad VAR is and how bad the referees are. It was no different yesterday. And again, that could have killed the game off completely. Fortunately, we still won. But at the same time, then you look at other things. Gabriel at the Emirates could have been given a penalty. His hand was away from him like that. And that's a slightly different situation because that was inside the box. It was defender as opposed to Rashford going through on goal. But Antonio's one is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And again, you have to then look at, and this is the annoying thing as well, is now the handball rule will get changed, won't it? It'll get changed because they'll go, actually, that's a bit stupid. That's a rubbish rule, and they'll change it. Well, it doesn't help us. It doesn't change anything for us. So I don't know. I don't know. VAR, at the end of the day, it ultimately doesn't matter because we got the victory anyway. Finally, Mark with the super chat says, with Liverpool struggling, everyone thinking Arsenal will drop off. Second is a genuine target. What for us? I don't know about that. I don't know. Like I said, I think top four, just get top four, get back in the Champions League, get a steady footing for next season, go again in the summer, maybe have a run in the Europa League or one of the cups. That should be what we should go for. We shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves after one game, in my opinion. But there you go, guys. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Full view coming this evening as well, 6 p.m. So be sure to tune in for that, and I'll speak for you again very soon. Peace.